Howdy everybody, David here, and this is another Fantasy Age Mechanics tutorial. In this particular tutorial today, we're going to take a look at something optional that I'm going to be implementing into all of my Fantasy Age games. This is, if you are a more experienced player, you're going to know this is the attack of opportunity. Currently in the rules, in the basic rule book, there are no attacks of opportunity for Fantasy Age. And I believe the reason for that is they wanted to keep the system very rule friendly, very rule light. So, being an experienced gamer, since I've been playing tabletop games since 1984, I've really come to appreciate, the attack of opportunity, and basically, you drop your guard. So, I've been thinking about this over the past week. Actually, I've been really thinking a lot about this over the last week. And would it be feasible to add into the Fantasy Age game? Would it be feasible to come up with some type of mechanic system? And how complex do I want this attack of opportunity system to be? Because, in 3.5 Pathfinder, the attack of opportunity system can be rather complex. I mean, really complex. In 4th edition, it's really not complex at all. There's only several ways that you can take an attack of opportunity, but in 5th edition D&D, it's even more rule light. So, after thinking about all these games, thinking about all the different games that I've played with their attacks of opportunity system, I was thinking, yes, it should be able to be done in Fantasy Age. So here we go. This is my way of the attack of opportunity, adding an attack of opportunity in your Fantasy Age game. Now, this in no way, shape, or form, like I said, is in the basic rule book. No way, shape, or form. This is not backed by Green Ronin Press by Chris Pramis. No one over there at Green Ronin. This is all on me. This is something that I've derived on my own. So let's take a look at this. So about a week ago, when I first started thinking about, wow, attacks of opportunity would really be nice in this game. So the first thing I thought about was how complex I want this system to be. Do I want this to be just involved with movement, or do I want it to be more complex? Like maybe standing up, or switching weapons, or drinking potions and whatnot. And after thinking about this, I really thought that because of the mechanics of Fantasy Age are so rule light and so simple, I thought that movement would probably be the only good solution to incorporate attacks of opportunity. I just didn't want it complex like Pathfinder. I didn't want a whole page, front and back, of all the different ways to take an attack of opportunity, because it just bogs the game down, and I didn't want that. So there's just 2 ways that you can take an attack of opportunity based off of movement that both the players are going to be able to do and the NPCs or monsters. So yeah, you'll be able to take them, you'll be able to receive them, and the game master, he'll be able to give them and receive them as well. So now that I know that I want to do something simple just involving movement, the next step of the process was, is it going to be easy to implement in Fantasy Age? And this was probably easier in thinking about how complex I wanted it to be. And the answer is absolutely. I mean, it's very easy to implement this into, the 3d6 mechanic system that is what Fantasy Age is anyway. So we're not adding any other dice, we're not adding nothing, we're using the mechanics that are already part of the game. And in fact, there's only one roll that you're going to need to do. Because, like I said, there's 2 ways to take the attack of opportunity, or, dropping your guard, but only one would involve a roll. So, now that we've, thought about how complex the system was, what we were thinking about doing, we have a very simple system. We're going to use 3d6. Now, now you're asking, what is it going to qualify as, basically dropping your guard in Fantasy Age? And how are you going to take this attack of opportunity that you speak of? And like I said, there's two things. Now we're going to get into the two things listed below. The first thing is this. Basically, you are going to be entering a creature's space and leaving the creature's reach area. And when I mean space, it could vary on the creature. Usually if you're a medium size of humanoid or monstrosity or whatever, it usually has a 5 feet range, but there are special conditions, circumstances that could have a longer range, like maybe a roper or something. But you want to watch out for the larger creatures, because the larger creatures obviously have, larger reaches. Ogres, giants, dragons. They even have that much of a further reach because of their wings, their tails, their long, elongated neck. So you really have to pay attention to this first rule, because you could run right past something and zap. You're going to take that attack of opportunity because you've dropped your guard. So let's take a look at a few examples of my attack of opportunity. And this is actually taken from several different games. I mean, it works basically just like your other D20s, D20 types of games, but we're going to be using the 3d6 system here. So the first way does not even include a roll. This is just player error. This is just I can't say it any other way, just player error. But sometimes it's forced player error. Maybe they're a warrior and they have a high defense, they have a very high armor rating. They're like, who cares? I'll take that attack. I'll eat it like a champion, and they run past the target anyway. So let's take a look at this. In this first example that I have here, I have Sasha, rest her soul. She passed away in one of our games a couple weeks ago, and we have Gimli Grim. Okay, now we have some type of plasmic cube or a gelatinous cube, and it is a larger creature than what Sasha and Gimli Grim are. So for this circumstance, we're going to say that the gelatinous cube or the plasmic cube just has its standard, adjacent reach. Now Gimli Grim is trying to save Sasha up here. He needs to get to her because she's got 3 orcs on her, off of the map adjacent to her. So Gimli Grim is going to move past this cube using his movement, which, translates, if you have Gimli Grim has 10 yards of movement, then that translates to 1 square per 2 yards for Fantasy Age. So we'll say Gimli Grim takes 1, takes 2, and you can see he's entered the space of the cube. He hasn't left yet, but on his 3rd movement, which is 6 yards, now Gimli Grim has dropped his guard. Maybe he's willingly dropped his guard, maybe he's totally forgot about it, but now he's left his guard, and this is where the cube is going to get that bonus or attack of opportunity against Gimli Grim. Pretty simple. This works just like, Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It's different than 4th edition or 3.5, but it's more contorted into the simple rules. That's just the way that I want it to be. Now, the second example that I want to show you is the reach factor. So let's move our cube over here, and we'll take our dragon here. See, the dragon is our red dragon here is even larger, and we'll say that the dragon can reach basically 4 yards or 2 squares out from its, from the token that it's at, or theatrically, if you're playing Theater of Mind, it can reach 4 yards out. That's a pretty good distance for reach, and we'll say, for sake of, it's probably a tail or a wing buffet or something like that. So we'll say that the same thing. Gimli's going to try to get over here to Sasha, and old Gimli Grim's thinking, I can get to her, and Gimli Grim is already within the dragon's range. So what Gimli's going to do is try to get out of the range, and still he's within 2, and he's going to leave even further away from the dragon. So now he's going to take his third square of movement, or into the 6-yard range. And now that you can see, he's out of the reach, which is the basically 4 yards, 2-yard reach. I mean, the hitbox of this dragon is huge. And that's what I'm saying. You really need to be cautious on the larger creatures like giants and especially dragons. So now Gimli Grim, poor Gimli Grim, has dropped his guard again. So the dragon's going to get a free tail lash. Bam! Or whatever attack the game master wants to give him. You know, whatever basic attack. Bam! That's how it's going to work. Not, you know, not any kind of dragon breath, no special attacks, nothing like that. The game master probably wouldn't do that anyway. But just to be certain, it's going to be, you know, just plain attacks, whether it be a you know, 2-reach claw, 2-reach bite, or a 2-reach wing or tail attack. So that's the first way that you can take an attack of opportunity. That's the first way. All right, that's just basic blatant error, or blatantly disregarding, who cares, I'm getting a Sasha anyway, and I'll just eat that attack of opportunity because I'm Gimli Grim and I got a good defense and I got a good armor rating. So there you go. That's the first way that you can take an attack of opportunity. Pretty basic, you know. No rule changes there, no mechanic changes, nothing like that. All it is based on movement. You know, there's no roll involved in this, only the roll to attack, which is going to be just your basic attack with your bonuses and whatnot. So let's take a look at the second way. This could also be blatant running away as also. Now let's say that let's move our big orc berserker here. He is a pretty large creature. We're going to say that we have all 3 players around, and they're getting their bonus on to hit. So we'll say that Kel, Gimli Grim, and Sasha are all ganging up on this massive orcish berserker. Now, the second way is, say another creature enters the fray. Say the blob enters the fray. Okay, the blob enters the fray. Now, Gimli Grim knows that Kel and Sasha can handle this. You know, handle this orc. You know, they've got 3. They're ganging up on it pretty good. Now Gimli Grim sees this, you know, has some kind of perception seeing test, or maybe smelling or whatnot, and smells this acidic creature, or sees the acidic creature coming up, trying to move up from the rear. Now Gimli Grim, it's his turn, and he wants to leave this this orc berserker that he's engaged to. So he can blatantly run away from it. If he just blatantly disregards the, you know, seeing it's Gimli Grim, he probably would, because Gimli Grim, let's face it, he's a badass. Good defense, armor rating. So he's just going to leave. He's going to leave down here and disengage. Not disengage, I'm sorry. He's just going to leave it and disregard it. And take, you know, he's going to drop his guard for a split second, engage it, take the attack of opportunity from the berserker. Everything's good. Now let's reverse the role of Kel here. Kel, he's more of a finesse fighter. You know, Kel is more, you know, more of a duelist with a, you know, maybe he uses rapiers and whatnot. He doesn't have the strong armor as Gimli Grim. He doesn't have the armor rating as Gimli Grim. So now let's reverse the role. Kel wants to get down there to intercept this, you know, this slime. Now what he can do is basically he can take what is called, I'm calling, and this is called appeal, or if you think about it, it's disengage from other games, or you know, shifting with movements and whatnot. So yes, you can call you call it anything you want, but I'm calling it appeal. All right, so when you peel away, you tactically retreat from another creature that basically you're engaged in. Now to do this, you will use a major action. So when it is Kel's turn, Kel will use his major action, and when he declares that he's going to peel away or disengage from a creature, he's going to need to go ahead and do a 3d6 roll with no modifier adjustments. Alright? Just a plain 3d6 roll, nothing else involved, and he's going to try to beat a target number of 10. Simple enough. Target number of 10. Now, it's going to increase by 1 for every creature that you have around you that is basically adjacent, that you're adjacent to. So basically, we'll reverse the roles here, just for this. Now, if the Berserker was trying to disengage or peel away, then it would be a TN of 12, because he's trying to get away from not only one person, but 2 additional people. So the target number will increase for each additional creature that is adjacent to the player. It makes sense, because the more targets that you have around you, the more targets that you're trying to tactically retreat from. You know, it's not like going to be as easy as trying to tactically retreat away from 1 as you are tactically retreating by 3. So I do like the way that the TN is going to adjust up 1, and there's going to be no max. So if you have 6 creatures around you, it's going to be a heck of a it's going to be a heck of a peel check. That's for sure. So get back to Kel here. Kel wants to peel and then engage with the slime down here. So Kel is going to roll 3d6. We'll say that Kel rolls. We'll say that he rolls a 12. So he's successful. So what happens now? Okay, so what happens now that your roll is successful? Well, this is what happens. The player can move up to his or her speed from the enemy. Now Kel, he's pretty quick on his feet. He's in light armor. He's got plenty of movement to get down here to engage this. Now when he moves, he tactically retreated. He does not take the attack of opportunity from that big orc berserker. That's a good thing. Now you'll also note that, seeing that the peel action takes a major action, as a reward you can also use your minor action to move again. So it's sort of like a way that you can get double movement if you tactically retreat. Now you have to you're not going to be able to just, say, hey, I'm just going to double move, but there's ways to double move in, with a run anyway. So, but as a reward to successfully disengaging from or peeling away from your target, the reward is you can move again. Maybe you need to move further away than what this slime is. And the reward is you tactically retreat, and you can move your run action to use both your major and your minor action on your turn. Simple. It's very simple. Now, what if your peel roll failed? I mean, what if it failed? What if Kel rolled like a 6 or a 7? Well, that's not going to be good, because when the player loses his or her roll, the player loses his or her major action. So your major action is gone, because you've tried to, tactically retreat. The target has basically held you there, and you cannot move now. So your major action is gone. Well, how about I just take the attack of opportunity and move with my minor action? And wrong. That's not going to work either, because the penalty, you're going to get a reward for being successful, and you're going to get basically a negative penalty for failing your check. So you can still take your minor action, but you just can't do any movement. You won't be able to use the movement minor action. So if you try to peel or tactically disengage, you're stuck there. If you fail the roll, you're stuck there for that round. You can try next round or the next round or whatever, but for that round, you're stuck there. Pretty simple. It's really rules friendly, and there's really, nothing to the system. I mean, you can memorize it in like 5 minutes. So then there's a couple additional things that I really wanted to think of, all the mechanics of the game. And, I wanted to really think heavily and deep on this in case somebody brought up well, I could do this, or maybe I could do that. So I tried to think of everything that I could think of, and I thought on this for a week. So a couple additional things that you're going to have to realize about the peel feature is this. Does force movement, like the skirmish stunt or any spells that you would make or get hit by make you take the attack of opportunity? Absolutely not. And the reason why is no force movement is going to make you take an attack of opportunity by dropping your guard, not even from a artifact magic item. So any kind of force movement whatsoever, whether it be from a stunt, whether it be from a spell, whether it be from a magic item, you're not going to take the attack of opportunity. So no letting your guard down on force movement. It's just fair. Now, the next thing is there are flying and mounted combat rules in Fantasy Age. Now, I thought of, does flying and mounted combat also fall under these rules? And I read both mounted combat, everything is good there, because you can be, thrown off of your horse, you can be knocked out of the sky. So no. Is flying and mounted combat also going to be taken into consideration for letting your guard down or the attack of opportunity? Absolutely not. No, they do not. Now, the last thing is, how many times can you do this around? Can you keep doing this all over the place? No. Because I want the integrity of the game to be there. I still want it to be quick. I want it to be fast. So, you can only take one attack of opportunity whenever a target lets their guard down. You can only take one per round. Alright, now you could possibly take advantage of that by seizing the initiative for 5 stunt points. You can get back up to the top of the order and refresh that, but it would cost you 5 stunt points. So yes, seize the opportunity could change that for you, because it would be a new turnaround for you. So, the last thing was note that some scary monsters have been known to be able to make more than one attack of opportunity around, because it's ultimately up to the game master. So here is my way of implementing the attack of opportunity by a player or a monster dropping their guard. Now, please feel free to leave a comment down below. If you have any other ideas, please feel to leave a comment down below. I'm all ears. This is something that I've been thinking about for the last week, and I thought that this would be the most easiest way to incorporate something that is still going to contort with the game to make it rule light instead of distorting everything. I didn't want that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, comment down below. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like the video. Please retweet it out. Do all kinds of stuff. And until next time, I'm Dave, and good gaming.